Hi, JP Fournier of the Movie Jerks here, coming to you on day 13 of 31 Days of Horror, the month where I watch 31 horror films I've never seen before, and I watch a new one every day for the full month leading up to Halloween. So what do we get for day 13? Well, yesterday, we had The Outing. So today I'm watching Bed Rest. Fear Never Rests. After struggling to start a family, Julie Rivers becomes pregnant and moves into a new home with her husband. She's ordered to mandatory bed rest and begins to see ghostly happenings throughout the house. Okay, another ghost story. So day 13, I'm watching Bed Rest. Bed Rest. This is a deceptive little ghost story. And by deceptive, I'm referring to the first hour, that the script hits all the same overused cliches and ineffective jump scares, only to lead to a surprising, solid, suspenseful horror ending. It feels like the film is sleepwalking for the first hour, as this is yet another confined to one location horror film. And we see this setup in a lot of popular horror films, with someone confined to one location and has to deal with something that may or may not be paranormal related. And in this film, we have our protagonist, who's still suffering from a past tragedy, spent some time in an insane ward, is dealing with medication that may alter her perception of reality, and she has a spouse who may or may not be gaslighting her, a housemaid who may or may not have alternative motives.
I lost my first child at 18 weeks.
And the film even gives us another version of the bouncing ball gimmick that was way creepier in The Changeling. For anyone who's seen a few horror films before, will recognize nearly every step that Bed Rest takes in the first hour. Thankfully, we do get a strong lead with the casting of Melissa Barrera as Julie, and a really great performance by Edie Inksetter as Delmy, the home care professional. Yet the film doesn't endure the audience to enjoy the characters on screen, with a spouse who's used as a suspect and his motives are unclear. She also doesn't know how to approach a situation with her husband without setting him off.
You two are getting friendly.
Have you been taking your medication? Have you?
Don't you dare blame this on some fucking chemical imbalance.
You're seeing our dead son, Julie, so just for a second here. Imagine what that's like from my perspective.
It's infuriating to watch two main characters communicate like this with each other, as none of the conversations feel natural as much as they just feel plot-driven. And honestly speaking, I was struggling to stay interested in this film for that first hour, as the script keeps dropping hints that might be leading into something even more cliched. But the film does come around in the last 20 minutes, leaning more into the horror genre, along with a solid finish that some may find emotionally satisfying. And for me, the ending did pick up enough to validate sitting through that first hour, for playing the most familiar plot twist tropes, only to have them as red herrings, then deliver something that had horror elements at the forefront of the tale, instead of pulling off some cheap plot that would have diminished the whole setup. It may glide on familiar ghost story routines and familiar haunted house cliches, but then it flips, skips, and twists itself enough in its closure that it proves it knows how to stick its landing. And there you go. Day 13 of 31 Days of Horror. This time I watched Bed Rest. What other one-location horror films do you like? Let us know in the comments section. And if you're curious of other films I'm watching this month, be sure to hit the subscribe button for updates daily. And for other information about the Movie Jerks, you can go to www.themoviejerks.ca.